Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently heading in towards the ISS here. Although it looks like we're heading in at a slightly awkward direction. I think we want to head a little bit more this way. So I'm going to turn RCS on and I'm going to just redirect us. Okay, things are reversed. Gotcha. I'm just going to redirect us a little bit out over here. This is affecting our turn. We just want to be on kill rot. Thank you very much. Okay, RCS is really needing to not be on SAS mode. That's mildly awkward for us. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do it like this, and then we'll manually turn it back over there. Okay, so then this is going to go somewhere around here. I'm just changing the velocity here. I don't really care about our rotation at this time. Okay, something about like that. Now, I'm going to turn RCS off, and we're going to go to relative velocity minus with our reaction wheel. Actually, this is kind of an okay direction. We'll just point at target. Yeah, we'll just bring this around. Seems reasonably fine. So, that's definitely a bit of an issue for us. But all we need to do is get this thing docked up. Literally, that's the only thing that needs to happen here. If I recall correctly, we were going to temporarily dock it and then bring up our next Soyuz flight because we need to do a little bit of work with our docking port. We need to just install an adapter, if I recall correctly. So we wanted to, I believe, actually dock it up here temporarily. That seems right. Yeah, we wanted to dock it up there temporarily. That's okay. We can definitely do that. And we're just going to bring this around. We're heading in at a pretty high rate of speed. Once we get our speed reduced, we'll be able to maneuver with our RCS a little bit easier. So all we're doing is docking this up, and then we're going to bring up a second Soyuz as a servicing flight. We need to bring up another Soyuz with a... All it needs to have is an inflatable airlock anyway, and then we can get 2 missions done at that point. So that'll be absolutely fine. I do want to turn our RCS on, and I'm just very slightly changing this on over to go this way. We want to be pointed at the target. Yeah, the RCS is kind of fighting us here because it's trying to turn us and change our velocity at the same time. It's just off of our center of mass, right? But that's fine. So we're now headed directly at this location. We need to go a little bit further out this way, though. That's for sure. So we're going to do that. I'm also probably going to start braking us a little bit here. Yeah, we need to bring this down from 3 meters per second down to like half a meter per second. So that's going to be our current mission. We need to slow this on down. We are heading slightly this direction, but it's probably not enough. We're down to 1.5 meters per second now. And like I said, I'm just angling for this being about half a meter per second. 0.7, 0.6, and 0.5. That'll make things a lot easier to move our RCS, or rather to move our velocity around with our RCS for, so that'll be good. And at this point, I want to warp in a little bit closer. Okay. So we can see we're a little off on our angling, which is unsurprising. We're going to want to bring this around so that we're going in the down vector a little bit, which is, I believe, this direction. Yes, that does indeed appear to be the case. And I'm bringing us back on this vector a little bit, but not fully. I'm going to put us about here or so for the time being. Maybe a little more on that down vector, because we're pretty far off right now on this. So we're just going to drift our way into position here for a bit. Okay. We need to bring this back on the horizontal vector. We're about in position there, but we need to maintain our verticality here. And I do want to keep us moving in at about half a meter per second. So we'll do something along the lines of that. So now we're just coming down in verticality. warping it forward a little bit until we arrive about here or so. And we can bring this back in the verticality up over this way. We're probably going to need to accelerate in a little bit more. And we're just heading directly in at this point. Okay, right about there. Let's accelerate in ever so slightly more. 0.5 meters per second. Looks okay. We're a little too high still, actually, now that I look at it. That's definitely the case. For some reason, I thought we were closer, but then I turned the camera, and no, we need to go further down. That's fine. We can definitely do that. I'm also going to angle our rotation ever so slightly here. That's a little too far. To be more like here. Okay. So this is a temporary docking port for us. We're going to undock this. We're going to eventually move it over here. But we need to get another dock up here. And the question is, where is that going to dock to? Here? Or underneath, I guess? Perhaps? No. On the Russian station, we just have small docking ports available. So we're probably going to have to modify our Soyuz flight in order to take advantage of that. Okay, we're at about the right height now. We're a little too far over this way, so we're just going to angle it on over. Fantastic. And we're going to position about here. And just gently drift on over until we are approximately in line. We might still need to go a little further down, but this should be reasonably good. Okay, we're about 18 meters out right now, and this docking is looking decent. It's not perfect, but it rarely is. Okay, let's get rid of that horizontal vectoring, and let's head directly towards target. Still heading in at about 0.5 meters per second here. And let's warp a little closer. Somewhere around there will do. Now this looks good. I think we're ready to dock up here. So we'll just do exactly that. So this is a temporary docking position. Our next flight is going to want to use a small docking port. We'll probably dock it here, most likely. We know that we have the docking adapter for everything else good to go up here, but I'm still probably going to bring the components on the Soyuz just for convenience sake. So let's hop back. Let's get a Soyuz ready to go here. It's going to be a really, really quick process. So this is going to be the... Let me see here. What is the flight of this? This is the 79P flight? No, this is the 82P. We just did the 6R flight. Gotcha. After this, we just have 2 Falcon 9 flights, by the way. And then we're done with the ISS for now. There's still future modules planned, but that's all we're going to do. We're not going into the future on that. Going into the future is what we're going to do with the Artemis program. So that'll be interesting. We are going to hop into the VAB here, and we're going to do... The second to last is called the penultimate flight. What is the term for the third to last? I don't know that offhand. Hang on, let me look that up. Third to last word. Is there a word for third to last? Okay, yep, anti-penultimate.
Anti-penultimate.
Okay, cool, yep. I got it right. Anti-penultimate. Okay, so this is the anti-penultimate flight. Sure. Let's open up our Soyuz. And we, as far as payload is going to go, we're just going to put in... Where are you at, Soyuz? Here you are. We're just going to put in a couple of things in this payload. So all we need in this service bay is we need an airlock. So that is going to be an inflatable airlock. One of these bad boys. And I'm going to mount that just right here on the bottom. That's absolutely fine. And then up on top, I'm going to have the components for our Prishal module adapter. So we're going to put a docking port junior, and we're going to put a Clampatron docking port just right up there. And those are going to be grabbed and utilized via Kerbal construction. So we don't need to do anything else here. This Soyuz is now ready for launch. This is our final Soyuz flight. for the record. We are not going to have any more Soyuz flights in this series. So this is the final one. Technically, this is done with a progress, an uncrewed progress rocket, or rather spacecraft, but we're not going to do it with a progress. We are going to do it with a proper Soyuz because we need to have a crew up there. So we're going to, we could just save this as the Soyuz and we could just launch this. Wait a second. Okay, this is launching to the KSC launch site. We want to be at Woomerang, so I'm going to cut out our loading times here. We'll be back coming in at Woomerang. See you guys in a moment. Okay, here we are not at Woomerang. I actually realized we need a small docking port up here, which we do have one. We just don't need to carry all of this nonsense. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. We need this Clampetron docking port junior here. And then our launch escape system just slots in on top of the fairing, kind of like that. It's not a perfect fit. Let's actually just move it ever so slightly down. That is a better fit. It would look better if we moved it even further down. About there is okay. We could go slightly further. Yeah, that's about perfect. Okay, so let's save that, and we are going to launch this at the Woomerang launch site. I just want to double check that we have our objects in our service bay. We do. Do we have crew? Yes, we do, including an engineer. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to launch at the Woomerang launch site. And once again, I'll see you guys after this loads. It does take a moment. Okay, so here we are loaded in at the Woomerang launch site. We, of course, need to set the ISS as our target. We are going to have an orbital altitude of 300 kilometers. Skipping circularization is not necessary, and we will... Actually, we can skip it. I'll manually circularize it. That's fine. I like adding in an inclination change if we can do that, so that'll be fine. We'll launch into plane of target and engage our autopilot. So that seems absolutely fine. We'll be doing our manual staging. And of course, everybody should be good to go here. I'm hoping that that will make us have less waving around up here, having this be slightly better anyway. We'll see what happens with that. We know our Soyuz is pretty wiggly, but we also know it is so overbuilt that it doesn't matter. To be honest, I expect we'll still have wiggle problems, but I think it'll be less now that we don't have the shenaniganery going on up here with the docking ports. So that would be nice. Okay, so we're going to be lifting off here in about 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... ignition and lift off. Fantastic. Those SRBs adding what feels like absolutely nothing, but I'm sure they'll okay. We can already see there's a fair amount of wiggle going on up here. That is perhaps spooky. We might have to utilize the launch escape tower. That would be awkward. That would be very awkward. I don't think we do, though. We're probably okay here. This is the last Soyuz flight. As long as we manage to get it into orbit and get this section detached, we'll be fine. That's the only thing we really care about here. And we know for a fact that we've seen wiggling up there before. I did expect there to be less wiggling, but it's deeply unsurprising that there is some wiggling. So that's okay. I'm really not all that concerned about it. I think it'll be fine. We're going to have our SRBs detaching here in about 40 seconds, and we'll just keep an eye on the wiggles. We'll see how that goes. But I'm not expecting significant issues from it. So far, so good, with an apoapsis of 15 kilometers. And we're still getting quite a lot of vertical speed at this point, of course, but we're targeting an orbital altitude of 300 kilometers. We need quite a bit of vertical speed to get there. Although horizontal speed is always better. Well, not always better. When you're super close to the ground, vertical speed is better. But at this point, I would be arguing that horizontal speed is mostly better. We still want to get our apoapsis up out of the atmosphere, but once that happens, we absolutely want everything to be in horizontal speed. We've got about 8 seconds left on our side boosters. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, side boosters. Nice, clean detachment. I like it. That was a very solid detachment. And of course, we're going to start to see wiggling at this point. Things get a lot less sturdy for us, which is fine now that our apoapsis is up over 70. We do have almost 2 minutes of burn in this stage, though, and that is a lot of time for wiggling to create issues. We'll keep an eye on it, but I don't expect anything major now that our speed is high enough that we'll have a reasonable amount of time in space. We're still in atmosphere right now, of course, and we're going to be deploying this fairing in about 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer, now. Goodbye, fairing, and now we can see the extent of our wiggling. But we are getting almost entirely horizontal speed at this point. We can see our vertical speed is decreasing, and that is a good thing. We want our vertical speed decreasing at this point, but this wiggling is a problem. I suppose we could consider turning off this reaction wheel for now, if I can actually grab it there. Here we go. That's the launch escape system. Hang on. That's the inline reaction wheel. If we turn that off, that didn't feel like it really helped. I'm going to turn it back on. We'll just leave it like this. It's fine. We have plenty of delta V for this. I'm not concerned about it. So we've got about 45 seconds of burn left in this stage. Once we ditch this stage, this is a solid design. It's just that our control centers are so far apart and there are some weak joints here. That's the primary issue. Honestly, a strut here, or actually like 4 struts here, might solve the issue, but I don't like the look of it, so we'll just deal with the spaghetti monster. It's fine. We've got about 20 seconds of burn left in this engine, but we're going to be at our apoapsis height long before then. There we go. We've got about 400 meters per second left in this stage. We'll put this on kill rot, and we do want, at this point, to decouple our launch escape system. Goodbye, launch escape system. We do not need you. So now at our... Actually, we're basically at the ascending node right now. I'll add a maneuver here, and we can do our inclination change right about now. So it'll be about there. We'll try to wiggle our way over to the node. I'm not expecting to get there anytime soon. We have about 30 seconds to get there. Okay, 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I'm not very shocked about this. We're going to toss in some gimbaling here. Okay, and we can see we're pushing this node quite a lot. I'm not surprised about that. So we're just going to bring this on over. We're coasting at this point. Okay. We're going to arrest this momentum and head on over towards the actual point here. This is a very awkward way to do things, no doubt about it. That is not efficient. That is not efficient at all. But we're just going to burn about here. And that's probably good enough. How are we doing on that now? 0.2? Okay, that did push it back to be about here. So at the apoapsis, we are going to bring this guy out and circularize, and we're going to do simultaneously a change on our inclination here. So this is 0.2 right now. This is not going to be perfect timing, but it should be close enough. Yes. We're going to head over to that node, and it's going to take us some time to get there. Luckily, we've got 10 minutes. We've got a lot of weight here for this tiny little reaction wheel to deal with. We've got a lot of excess mass. No doubt about that. But let's just slowly head on over to this point. And we'll just get into position for this burn, which is going to be about here. Looks good. Let's warp. So it's going to be about a 7-second burn. It's going to burn out the majority of the fuel in this tank. We have way too much fuel in this tank, obviously. But let's just head on forward here a little bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. We still have some wiggling going on here, but this is fine. That's good enough. That puts us into a good enough orbit. 125 meters per second left here, but it's really not worth maintaining at this point. So I'm going to ditch that, and goodbye, spaghetti rocket. Excellent. So now we're going to do our rendezvous burn, which is going to be, that is awkward timing. Okay, I guess this works. Sometime around here. 2.9 kilometers, 53 meters per second. Let's do it. So we're going to have a much easier time turning this at this point without all of this mass, obviously. And we've got almost 3,600 meters per second, and we need 60. So we're going to be ditching... Actually, we could ditch this stage right now, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to do this burn just with the Soyuz, I think. We've got plenty of Delta V in that as well. So let's get rid of this stage, hilariously. And we're just going to do this burn in the Soyuz. Oh, we just threw away so much fuel, and it feels so awkward. But we really, really don't need it. This thing is overbuilt, so it's fine. Cool. We've got about 40 minutes left in the warp. Of course, by the time I finished saying that, 0 minutes. 57 seconds. 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0 mark. So off we go to the ISS. And we're just doing this under the Soyuz's own power, which it will have plenty of power for this. There we go. That'll do. We'll put this in kill rot. We don't need that maneuver anymore. And this is going to be 10.3 kilometers. Okay, so we're going to need to do a corrective burn, but that's deeply unsurprising. Let's hop into target modes. And with a relative speed of only 55 meters per second, that's going to be a bit of a spicy one. So we are going to need to do a pretty hefty corrective burn here, actually. I'm going to do it on the prograde side. Oh, that's really far away. Okay, I'm going to do this on the prograde side. And I'm going to burn it, honestly, kind of target retrograde here, which is a really strange place to burn it. But it's what I'm going to do. Okay, now I'm going to burn down over this way. There we go. And we're coming in at like 5 meters per second. So this is not a lot of meters per second. No doubt about that. But we are currently heading towards the target at about 7.5 meters per second. We're now going to rendezvous way up here with a separation of 14.7 kilometers. So I want to continue to burn towards target, and I want to do this a little bit sooner, right? So I'm just keeping an eye on that relative separation. It is losing efficiency at this time. We can obviously correct our momentum like so. Brings us down to 1.8. That looks much better. So I'm going to warp to here, and we're only at 12.8 meters per second relative. So that is definitely noted. The station is loading in right now. Goodbye frame rate. Eventually it'll get caught up. Okay. This is not great frame rate, that's for sure. And what we should be pointing at the station at this point. Yeah, 1.8 kilometers. So we're going to need to head over to the retrograde marker. I'm actually going to put this in kill rot. This is some terrible performance right now. And we are going to want to bring this up and around. We can see that we are definitely bypassing the station quite a bit. I'm doing a corrective burn out over here. Okay, so that moves us towards the station quite a bit. We need another corrective burn out over this way. And we're now heading basically towards the station, but we're heading that way pretty slowly. So let's head around towards target. We're only at 2.2 meters per second relative right now, so it's going to take us a while to get there. I want to head in towards the station at this distance, like 50 meters per second. Okay. Throttling us up a little bit here. Cool. So we're going to bring this up to about 50 meters per second. We've got plenty of Delta V for these maneuvers. This is an awkward way to do things, no doubt about it, but it does get us there. Okay, need a little further. That'll do. So we're going to flip around to relative velocity minus at this point, and we are heading in. We are currently at 0.0 kilometer separation, so that seems good enough. I don't think I'm going to dock this up next episode. I think I'm going to put the cut in here. I'll restart the game, and next episode we'll have a little bit of frame rate, and we will be able to bring this guy in, dock it, get our changes made that we need to, and bring both of the flights home. Hopefully all in the same episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. I'm also braking right now in the background in case you were concerned about that. We're going to be coming in at a slower speed. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank... What am I doing? I already did this. Okay. That is exciting. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and I will see you all next time. Now I got distracted by messing up the outro, and I overshot the braking. Okay. We'll be in a decent position when we come in next episode. I just need to switch this around by about 10 meters per second.